Hi, I'm Meredith Rutledge, and I'm a jazz vocalist from Lake County, Ohio. You go to my head, and you linger like a haunting refrain. One of my first memories of listening to music was me being underneath the dining room table at my Aunt Mary's house and listening to I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles, singing along with it at the top of my lungs and kicking the underside of the dining room table. And my Aunt Mary pulled me out by my ankle and said that she was going to break my leg if I didn't stop. Sparkling burgundy brew, and I find the nearest mention of you. Nancy Wilson really taught me how to sing, basically, just from hearing those records over and over and over again. One of my favorites is one that's actually here in the Ohio exhibit. Nancy Wilson is originally from Columbus, and I brought in one of my favorite ones, which is Nancy Wilson and Cannonball Adderley, and it's here in the Ohio exhibit. So I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that it never can be? You go to my head with a smile that makes my temperature rise. I was living in New York City when it was announced that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was going to be built in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm a native Clevelander, and I thought, wow, I can go back home and have a job. And I came back to Cleveland, and it was kind of hard to get my foot in the door because it's a place where there's a lot of people that want jobs, but sort of limited number of openings. So it took me a while to get my foot in the door. And I started working as a visitor services representative, which are the people who show you in the door and ask you not to touch things and talk to the customers. And I did that for about 4 years, and there was an opening in the curatorial department, and I took it. Well, the curators are responsible for putting the exhibits together. We contact artists or artist representatives to try to get the actual items that we display in the museum. On a typical day, I will call up an artist manager and say, hey, we're trying to put together an exhibit on Ohio music, and we're interested in any items that were worn on album covers or guitars that were played in big studio sessions or on stage. And do you have these items? Would we be able to borrow them, or would you be willing to donate them to us? And that's the way it works. Go to my head. You go to my head. Well, Hang On Sloopy, the Music of Ohio, opened in 2003. 2003 was Ohio's bicentennial. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame got a grant from the state to do an exhibit on Ohio artists. And we went around we sort of divided up the state, and I called all the people from Columbus, and other people in my department, just called people around the state, gathering items for the exhibit, and we were amazed, first of all, at the incredible diversity of the artists from Ohio, and also just the great number of Ohio artists, people that I never even knew, from all different kinds of music. Dean Martin from Steubenville, Nancy Wilson from Columbus, the members of the James Gang that are all from the Cleveland area. Joe Walsh is from Ravenna, Ohio. Chrissy Hine from the Pretenders from Akron. Dwight Yoakam is from Columbus. So all different kinds of artists from all over the state, and all different kinds of music too. It was like a really inspiring thing. I met Jim Bonfanti, who's the drummer of the Raspberries. I actually went to his home to pick up some of the items that are in the exhibit. And he was so warm and wonderful and had so much stuff. I guess drummers really are the repository of rock and roll collecting. Basically, I think because they have so much stuff and so much equipment that they use. And the band always ends up rehearsing at the drummer's house because he doesn't want to move all his stuff around. So it's always like all the stuff is at the drummer's mom's house because that's where they rehearsed in the very beginning of the band. Anyway, Jim had all this stuff and these great magazines like 16 Magazine and Tiger Beat, because I guess the Raspberries were real sort of like a teen heartthrob band when they started out, or they were marketed as such. And it was so fun to see these sort of teeny bopper exposés of the Raspberries. And we had a good laugh about that.
Never, never know the one who loves you so. No, you don't know me.
I knew nothing about Billie Holiday until Lady Sing the Blues came out in 1974, I guess. And that film made a huge impression on me. And when I discovered the real Billie Holiday and not the Diana Ross interpretation of Billie Holiday, I was even more blown away and impressed by Billie Holiday's style, her intonation, phrasing. She really changed the way I listened to music. And I would credit Billie Holiday as really inspiring me to want to be a vocalist.
You'll never, never know the one who loves you so. No, you don't know me.